The video that you guys are about to watch is very, very important to me. It means a ton, and you'll understand throughout this video why. This car actually sitting right here is what you're going to be watching me buy in this video. And I know we talked about the orange Camaro that I bought that actually started the channel. This car is actually what started my entire passion for cars, even as a kid. This car has been in my family since before I was born, and in this video we went to go buy it back after long time of waiting, and we'll get into all that in a minute. But before we do get started with this video, I want to let you guys know that we do have our first concert on January 30th. It's going to be at the Granada Theater in Dallas, Texas. So if you guys are interested in coming out, you go to Sentimental.com to get your tickets now. They're on sale today, actually. Right now, as you're watching this, they're going to be on sale, so go check it out now before they're all sold out. We've got a very limited amount of seats, so if you want to get your tickets, go check them out at Sentimental.com. I'm so nervous. I feel like there's so much backstory to tell, but I don't even feel like talking about it. Yeah, I'll just talk about it later.
Wait till we get home or something.
How you doing?
Good. How you been? Good.
Me and my dad have not ever really had like the greatest relationship.
Oh, I got that.
A lot of the issues that we had, at least for me growing up, was because of this car, which is kind of, it sounds really stupid if you just listen to me say that, but this car was given to him by his stepdad 22 years ago. He always had plans of one day, whenever he had a kid, giving that car to his sons. Ironically, like a year later, he ended up finding out that my mom was pregnant with me. So whenever they found that out, they got like a custom plate for the car made, and it said Gavin, and like they had all these plans of like this car was going to be mine. And like, so like all growing up, I was told that, and that's really, I was really excited about it, and that was the first car that I ever learned how to like shift gears on. This was the first car that I really learned how to work on. The first of everything. It's just memories is really the best way to put it. It's been with me since I was a newborn. I've been around this car my entire life.
You must have cleaned it last night, huh?
Yeah, you don't even recognize it, do you?
Yeah, I know. It's real clean.
I always knew what I had. That's what I told Angela. I never really had a reason or the money to do anything, and hardly the time. So, and another thing that I always have problems with, whenever you get on it from first going into second,
It grinds, I remember.
it came with these double hump heads, and they're very expensive. And you got to watch. You don't want anybody to give you regular and keep those because they're rare.
I swear, we've been talking about
They're
every
big.
single bit of this
Yeah.
to a T. I told them the exact same stuff on the way down here.
The reason I got a brand new radiator and hose is because I was going from Katrina, I went to Lake Charles, and I had to drive it from Lake Charles to Dallas to escape Rita,
Yep.
and all that just blew off, and it started knocking and shit.
On the way down to Houston, whenever Daniel and Nick were with me in the truck, I was sitting there telling them a bunch of stories about the car and pretty much like telling them in detail like all these different things. It sounds crazy, but they were like, oh, okay, cool. And it was just cool because after I got done telling all the stories or whatever, we get to my dad's house, and as soon as we get there, like I'm looking over the car and like I'm trying to be quiet because I'm freaking out inside, and I knew I was already so anxious and so excited and everything because I was telling them stories the whole way. But it was really cool whenever we got there because he tells them like every story that I had just told to a T, every single detail the exact same, and the whole time I was just like, see? I think the craziest thing to really that's worth bringing up is the fact that this car was actually in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina.
3 million people leaving the coastline and moving up into the central part of Texas. And the result was a terrible traffic jam. There were reports of people traveling 13 miles, and it took 15 hours to do that. So predictably, people ran out of gas. And when they ran out of gas, they had no air conditioning.
We were in New Orleans. My dad worked on Bourbon Street. He worked at the Tropical Isle. He was a bodyguard. Whenever the hurricane came through and whatever, the car was basically at his house, and he knew, aside from anything, he was not leaving this car there. This car means as much to him as it does to me now. Hurricane comes and completely takes out New Orleans, takes out his house that we had there. We lost legitimately everything in that storm, which is something that I've actually never even brought up to a lot of the people that I know. We lost everything to that storm. So as soon as we got to Lake Charles, Hurricane Rita gets announced, and they saw that it was out in the Gulf, which was horrible because, I mean, like I said, I was young, so it wasn't really a huge impact on me, but my dad just lost his house. That was like a really big, weird point in my life because I feel like my entire family kind of like completely disintegrated and fell apart, and it hasn't really been the same, I guess, since then. My mom and my dad had been divorced obviously for years. They got divorced whenever I was 2 years old. So he's got the clothes on his back, he's got this car, and that is it. So he leaves Lake Charles after Rita, going to Dallas to move up there. That's where he was going. He gets to Dallas with the car, and I remember the first time that I ever went to visit him, the car, I was so happy, so happy to see the car. I ended up going to see him in December for Christmas, and whenever I went there, it was just like super emotional time. He had nothing. He was sleeping on an air mattress, had no clothes, had no anything except for this car. And that Christmas was like, I think one of the most eye-opening Christmases, because it was really hard, I think, for our entire family. But the biggest thing that stuck out to me at that time was that for Christmas that year, that was actually the first year that the Xbox 360 first came out. He pretty much spent every single thing that he had to give me this Xbox 360, which was really crazy. And I guess I didn't know exactly like what was all going on. I didn't get the entire picture at the time because I was so young. As a kid, you don't know like about money. You don't know about anything like that. So I kind of overlooked it. But as I got older, it was like really kind of just like a hit in the chest to see that he had absolutely nothing, spent every bit of his money just to get me an Xbox, just to see me happy on Christmas. This car has been through everything that we have been through in my life. Me and him have had arguments about it. This car, like I said, was supposed to be my first ever car. We had like all these dreams and plans of like working on it together, and it just really never happened. And it was a lot because of the differences that we had, and without like putting out too much information about him, but this I don't think he would mind at least. But he struggled a lot growing up with like really bad alcoholism. In the middle of everything like that, it's just obvious that this never happened because a lot of the things that were going on at the time that really don't need to talk about. But I was really let down just because that was like a dream of mine. Ever since I had seen this car as a kid, I just wanted to have that as my first car. It never happened. And then the next year it was supposed to happen. It just never happened. Next year, it was constantly just irritation from me because I was getting into trying to be a mechanic. So at the time I like had a lot of knowledge on working on cars that he really didn't have, and I really wanted the car to be able to get it fixed up with him and like us have something together, and it never happened. So like it just was a big kind of like heartbreak for me, I guess, growing up.
I tried really hard over the years to preserve it as much as I could, man. This thing's been through hell and back.
Oh, I know.
Everything on this car is original.
Yeah.
Every single thing. Nothing has been changed, modified.
Have you seen it up here? Like everything?
It definitely looks like a pretty solid interior, though.
You are gonna shit yourself whenever you see this thing in like 6 months, I'm telling you.
I cannot wait. You see the potential in it?
Oh, trust me. I always have.
You're gonna see, it's gonna be surface rust that you see down there.
This car is a 1967 Camaro Rally Sport. It's got all matching numbers, so it is a completely original car. It has never been tampered with. It's never been repainted. There's never been any modifications done to the car. It's an original 3-speed manual, original 327 engine in there. It's completely original, like I said. So it's a very rare find. And whenever I say minimal rust, I mean basically non-existent, which is incredibly hard to find in a car like this. So I think the craziest thing about this car also is that it's the first year Camaro ever made. It's the Rally Sport. So like there's a large bit of like American heritage and history behind it, especially whenever there was like the Ford versus Chevy, the Mustang versus Camaro thing, which you guys can look into. But it's interesting because this is like pretty much a complete unicorn. You don't find these cars in a 67. You don't find a Rally Sport. You don't find them all original with matching numbers. So it's just like, it's a diamond in the rough, to say the least. And in the condition that it is, it's never been wrecked. It's completely straight body, never been tampered with, anything. So the value of the car is definitely up there. And a lot of people, whenever they first saw, like I even posted a little snippet, like a teaser on Snapchat. Whenever I did, everybody was like, oh my God, I know what that is. They're like, will you sell it? Will you sell it? Will you sell it? And I was like, dude, absolutely not. You don't understand. And like we've been talking about it off camera. Even if the car is worth $250,000, even if the car is worth $500,000, the car is worth $1 million, there's no amount of money that I would take for the car just because of the story and the significance that it has to my life. That's just invaluable, I guess, to me. I think the biggest reasoning for it is because me and my dad really haven't been so close. We only get one set of parents. And even though we weren't that close, it's just, I don't know. It's just like, it's like a token to me of basically like the only thing that me and my dad really had. And I know there's gonna be a lot of comments about why would you not sell it and whatever. It's just, money does not mean a thing to me. It's the relationships formed through the process and through the work and through the steps to getting to where you want to be and whatever. So like this is just, it's an asset that I want to keep in my life until the day that I die, or if I have a kid one day. I want to be able to have this car fixed up to be able to give to him the same way that it was supposed to be for me, and just keep that tradition going, if that makes any sense. So definitely could not get rid of it to address that question now, because I know it's probably going to be asked a lot in the future.
These air vents, and man, that air just floating really good.
I'm about to start crying.
It's definitely not for his dad. I don't know if Gavin realizes it yet or not, but this isn't about the car at all. He doesn't want the car. He does want the car, yes, but more than that, Gavin wants the dad that this car reminds him of having. I can't wait to see this thing running.
I'm excited.
I haven't even been to my dad's house in a long time, so it was really crazy whenever we got there. I swear to God, he set this entire thing up just to like make me want to bawl. But like I got there, like as we're looking at the car and he's telling them about all the stories of the car and everything, and like childhood stories for me and whatever. He's got like this entire portfolio laid out of like whenever I was a kid, like all the drawings I used to draw and like all the letters that I wrote him and everything that he had been saving throughout the years, because he was, like I said, we never really saw each other that much. He lived apart from me my entire life, so I'd like write him letters and he would write me back and stuff like that.
For a long time, whenever I lived in Oklahoma, I used to draw my dad a picture a day. So this is like, each page was like a different thing that I would draw every day. I got my alligators. This is my first short story that I ever wrote.
It's very evident from all this how, like, you were definitely ADD as a child.
This is how I thought as a kid. This was like me trying to invent things. This was like, for some reason, whenever I was a kid, that's all that I did was draw and 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 draw. I'm not gonna lie to you, I have not like
Cried like that?
I've not been emotional like that in a long, long time.
Feel like your life is coming together a little bit?
I see I'm about to start crying again. Gotta check. Hello?
You seeing it now?
Oh, I've seen it for a long time.
No, this isn't about a car.
I'm not talking about the car.
I'm not either.
I think we're on the same page.
Maybe. Doesn't matter.
No, it's not us.
Touche.
I do want to clarify, growing up, I'm glad that I was raised this way, so let me just go ahead and put that out there, disclaimer, but I was not given anything growing up. Like, if I wanted something, it's not like I could just ask for it. So that I don't want to get that confused with like, oh, you didn't get your dad's car, oh, well, big whoop. But no, it really wasn't like that. I was not given anything above like basic needs, and I'm glad that it was that way, because that instilled in me that if you want something, you've got to work to go get it. But the situation with this was just like, every year it was just like, I was told that this was going to be mine. This was going to be our thing. We were going to have like this father-son bond with this car, and it never happened. And that created a lot of problems through me and him. It really wasn't even about the car. I think it was just more of like me wanting to spend time with my dad, because we never had like a close relationship at all. So this was like the glimmer of hope that I had, and it just never happened. So that tore me apart a lot as a kid.
I guess I just bought it. This is the original set of keys. It's so crazy, I forgot that. I used to have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks of lyrics that I wrote. Like I said, like from 10 years old.
Gavin was the last person to sit in his passenger seat.
That's how small I was the last time I rode in here.
Other people, like, y'all can look at it and y'all look at the car and it's just like, okay, it's a car. But like, I look at the car, I look at the passenger seat, and I remember like pictures of me being like 3 years old. It's funny, actually, the passenger side seatbelt is still adjusted to the size that I used to be. I was the last person to ride in the passenger seat, which is pretty cool. Me and him actually have not really been close, or have not really been on talking terms for the last probably almost 2 years now. And he kind of messaged me out of the blue, kind of was just like, hey, we kind of had like this coming to Jesus is what it felt like. It was like we both kind of apologized to each other, and it was like, this is stupid. At the end of it, he was like, I want you to have the car. He messaged me and he's like, look, let's figure this out. I have the car. I want you to have the car. The problem is that I just don't want to let it go. I don't want to just like give it away. It means a lot to him. We pretty much came to terms on a nice little exchange, I guess. He wanted to go get some land, and I'm glad. So, I mean, the whole situation really helped both of us. Pretty much we agreed on a price that I would come and buy the car for. So that way we're pretty much like fair and square. We're on level playing ground. There's no animosity towards each other for any reason, pretty much. Like, nothing at all. So fair and square deal, whatever. I would buy the car from him. He would get to go get his land, and everybody's happy.
You wanna go eat?
You know what a feller named Caleb Thomason would say right now?
No.
Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
No, or that. Damn, I can't even believe that. That's nuts.
How you feel?
Weird. Oh, let's go turn on the truck now.
That's it. I'm not starting it. I don't know if it's going to start or not. It's ready. I just don't know. I don't know. But after the head gasket blew on the way to Dallas and everything, whenever he was leaving the Hurricane, it started knocking. And so whenever it started knocking, he started like white smoking. I'm sure like the head gasket, obviously issue with. Pretty much the plans is to pull the engine out, get the engine rebuilt, get the trans rebuilt, new clutch. Pretty much freshen everything up on the entire car. All original trim, perfect. The bumper's perfect. It really needs new paint, and it just needs really just love and to be rebuilt. And the car is pretty much ready to go at that point. So this is pretty much the new project that we're starting, and I hope you guys are excited. This is not anything traditional to this channel by any means. We've always been pretty much modern day muscle, newer stuff, drag racing. This is completely taking everything and like throwing a curveball at it, because we're going with a complete, I'm not gonna say resto mod, because we're not doing anything like too modern on it. But we're gonna definitely restore the car to basically how you would have seen it in 1967 whenever the car was on the showroom, plus a little bit of modern details. Take it from me. If you guys have anybody that you are afraid to reach out to, or if you're afraid to talk to somebody, or you've got a relationship that is not the best and you really want to fix it, take this as like a sign to be able to go fix that, because trust me, it's really stupid to argue and fight with the only people that you have in your life over such stupid shit. I think that the last few months we've been really pushing to show you guys that this channel is really, we've been wanting to make this a lot more than just cars. Like, yes, it definitely started with cars. Cars are definitely always going to be involved just because they're involved in my life always. I just really thoroughly enjoy cars. So they're not going anywhere, but I do want you guys to know that the direction of the channel I've been wanting to push for is a lot more than cars. So like I thoroughly, really do enjoy whenever we go on like trips and stuff. We can make trip videos, like vacation videos, or we go do stuff, and you guys get the chance to see like a lot more personality and everything, rather than just like an informative car channel. It's just, yeah, it's just, there's a lot more to life than just the things that we keep on video. So I like to include stuff like this. So hopefully this is really cool for you guys. With that being said, guys, if you are excited as I am to see this car and the progress that we're going to be doing on it in the next few months, please comment down below and let me know. We need some inspiration here. There's a lot to be done on the car, but I'm really excited to see its final product without a doubt. So anyways, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been incredible. I'm at a loss for words, because this is still, like I said, something that I never saw actually happening. But here we are.
3 years now since everything changed. 3 years more than I could anticipate. It's like I'm lost off in outer space and can't escape. But life's just like an old watering can. You can only pour what you can hold in your hand. Let it out and fill it up again if you can. I hope we can. Hope we can find us a place to land, a little hollow to start again. Let those blue skies in. I hope we can. Hope we can find us a place to be, a little hollow for some